this is Daniel with TEXAS-TUK. Today I'm going to show you how to change the oil in a Piaggio Ape. This particular model is a 601, but this process can work for a 501 and a 500 and a 400. Any of the ones that have the rear engine like this, okay? So we're going to pop the engine lid. I'm going to show you where the dipstick is and where you add the oil. Then we're going to go underneath and pull the drain plug, let it drain out. What your tools you're going to need today is a 17 millimeter to pull the nut out of the bottom. So you can either use a socket or a wrench, 17 millimeter. You're going to need a screwdriver to undo where the dipstick is. You're going to need a long funnel to help you pour the oil back down into the engine. You're going to need some kind of a pan to catch the old oil and maybe a rag. And the type of oil that we're putting back in is this Rotella. You can buy this at Walmart or AutoZone or O'Reilly's, any of the auto parts stores, but it is the Rotella 15W40. It says heavy duty diesel engine oil, but that's the Rotella oil that we want to put in these Piaggio Apes. And this is the oil we're changing for the crankcase and the oil bath for the clutch as well. Okay, so changing the oil on the Piaggio Ape 601. We're gonna pop this door latch right here. We're gonna bring up this lid. You can remove the whole lid and move it out of the way. It gives you full access to the engine. Now where you need to check the oil and put the oil is down in here. It's a plastic, kind of a screw-in cap, and it has a slot for you to put a screwdriver. So you put that down in there. You're going to spin this until it's all the way out, and you just pull it out of there. And then you want to look at it and see, where the oil level is. So on this one, you can see the oil level is just above that first notch. The oil needs to fall in between that notch and this notch, right in there somewhere. So he has just barely enough oil in this one. All right, so now we're gonna go underneath and pull the drain plug. If you'll look under here in the skid plate, there's a hole in the middle and you'll see the nut. That's the 17 millimeter. So a big socket wrench does work good. You put it under there, get ready to start loosening that nut. Sometimes they're on there really tight and they're stuck and you gotta, put some big pressure on it to get that nut. This particular one was not that stuck. I've had ones that were worse. So here's what I like to do. I like to pull it all the way out to where it's almost out. Then I move my bucket underneath that's going to catch the oil. So that the last couple of threads, I can just do it by hand and undo it. And then, the oil is just going to start flowing. So you want to have your catch bucket catch that old oil. And there you go. So there's the old dirty oil coming out. I've got the drain plug in my hand so I don't lose that. I like to take these over to my bench and clean them up really good and get any other old debris off of it. As they have like a little magnet in it so it catches metal shavings and stuff on that plug, or it just settles to the bottom and it's all sitting there. So I like to clean that drain plug. So now I've poured some in there just to kind of flush it out more. I've cleaned up the plug. So now I'll just put it back in there. You're gonna get a little bit of oil on your hand, but that's no big deal. I'm just kind of hand screwing it in to get it, make sure that it's set right, not cross-threading or anything weird. Move the drain plug box back out of the way, get your wrench, and just start to tighten it back up. You're gonna wanna get that snug, nice and tight, so it's not leaking or draining any oil. But you also, don't wanna kill it as you start stripping threads. So nice and tight, but don't kill it. Okay, and that's everything on the bottom side. So now it's ready to put in the new oil. Okay, so now we're ready to add the oil. We've already drained the old oil. So I've got my big long funnel right here. Just gonna start pouring in oil, and then I'm gonna start checking the dipstick to see where the level is. Okay, so I poured some in, gonna let all that drain down. Then the best way to do it is just to use the dipstick, screw it all the way in, see where the oil level is, and keep going until you're somewhere between that bottom notch and the top notch. Okay, so you can check the different owner manuals for what model you have to see how much oil is supposed to go in there, and it'll be in milliliters. If you don't have access to the owner's manual to see exactly how much oil to put in, then this is a surefire way to just check it and just make sure that your oil level is in between that bottom line and the top line, and then you know you have enough oil in it. But you can check the book and find out, how many milliliters, and you can measure that with a measuring cup and know exactly how much to put in it, or you can measure it on your dipstick. All right, so that's how you do a basic oil change on a Piaggio Ape, a 501-601. So you just make sure you have your dipstick screwed back in, and you clean up all your tools, and you put the lid back on. And thanks for checking us out. Come check out another video. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook.